Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvase Satsongi Badi Parsotya Disatarani Vanchakalpataribhyacha Kripasundabhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadis Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So our topic for today is the common thing we do every day in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, the chanting of Krishna's names. Shall I continue?
Maharaj, they have a synchronized translation. You just go ahead, maybe just give a couple of seconds more, and they will translate.
Oh, okay, good. So, then chanting, when we come to the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we are introduced to chanting of Krishna's names, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the prescribed religious process for realizing who we are as spirit souls, parts and parcels of Lord Krishna. It looks very simple, but it is not that simple because there are different stages in the process of chanting. And in the initial stage, it could be very challenging. Sometimes people feel disappointed, confused, and will even want to give up the chanting, because the mind gives them so much of trouble. The mind has been giving us so much of trouble, and the mind does not stop giving us trouble, even as we go on in the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So it could be very disappointing sometimes, but then the question is, shall we wait until the mind calms down before we chant? Shall we wait until we become pure before we chant? Or shall we just continue to chant? Shall we continue to practice to chant until we become pure? So the response for this is yes, we should just continue to practice to chant, although we are impure, but the name is pure. And because the name is pure, the name purifies us. Nama Prabhu purifies us when we associate with the holy name. And therefore, we should not give up the chanting because the mind is giving us too much, it's creating so much distractions. So sometimes we could be very steady chanting and very absorbed. And then some other times, we feel so much distracted and not able to concentrate on the 32 syllables of the Mahamantra. The Mahamantra consists of 16 words, And the 16 words are made up of 32 syllables. This is the mantra that the Paramahamsas are chanting and seeing Krishna directly. At the same time, we in the conditioned state, we struggle so much just to keep up with fulfilling or keeping up with the goal of chanting 16 rounds. And Srila Prabhupada has given us a very nice system in his International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada wanted us to follow what the acharyas have laid down, previous acharyas have laid down. For instance, using the Brahma Muhurta hours for our chanting. Now, why do we have to use the Brahma Muhurta hours for chanting the Hare Krishna mantra? Why not in the night before we go to sleep? Or why not in the afternoon? Why don't we keep the afternoon for our chanting? Why the early morning hours of the day? They say about 2 hours or so before sunrise. Now, this might look like another religious dogma from the Vedic literatures, another religious instructions from the Puranas. But let's understand one thing. If we are doing something, we didn't understand the reason we are doing it, or in research, we say the rationale. What's the reason for doing this? If we know the reason, then we can appreciate why we have to do it, or why we have to do the chanting in the early morning hours. Now, we have 3 modes of material nature, 3 gunas. We have the mode of goodness, we have the mode of passion, and we also have the mode of ignorance. Now, during the early morning hours, the mode of goodness governs the early morning hours. And so when we do the chanting during the early morning hours, we can have better results. We will have better concentration. Now, the idea that morning hours is good for chanting is not only in spirituality. In science, researchers have come up with innovative ideas, innovative reports from their research findings that the most productive hours of the day for innovation and high performance are in the early morning hours. So, for instance, a scientist may do well in the performance of their job, or may do well in terms of innovations, creating new ideas in their field, when they utilize the early morning hours properly. And so it is not our being asked to chant during the early morning hours before we go out for our jobs or to school or our services. It's because that is the most productive hours of the day. And therefore, we need to understand that this is a science-based request, science-based idea for us to utilize the morning hours. In fact, there are a number of reasons, and one of the reasons is that if we use the morning hours to do our japa, when we go out for our jobs, for our schools, of our different services in our temple communities, we feel very, very motivated and highly enthused. We feel very happy. We have that inner happiness and that emotional support from within, because we are being directed by the Lord. We have done the service to the Lord. We created an enabling environment for the day. And you can experiment on this. Be someday, don't chant in the morning before you go to work, and see how the day looks like, so that you'll be able to make a difference. But you don't need to perform this experiment, because it's already been ascertained by scientists and the acharyas. And so we simply have to follow this, and we'll be able to have receive the benedictions of the spiritual master, benedictions of the previous acharyas, and the mercy of Lord Krishna himself. Because Lord Krishna is not different from his holy names. Therefore, when we have to do the chanting, we have to also be contemplative about what we are doing, the meaning of what we are saying. When we are chanting, we are communicating with Lord Krishna. We are on the phone with Lord Krishna. And so in America, it's very common. If you're on the phone with someone, even your lovely child comes around, you say, hey, I'm on the phone. You don't want them to disturb you, because that opportunity may never come up again. And if you drop the phone, it's considered an abuse. Therefore, if you are speaking to someone on the phone and all of a sudden maybe your battery run down and the phone communication just stop, you have to message them to let them know what happened. Otherwise, they will feel that you are telling them, get out from my life. So each time we are calling on Krishna's names, and we have some other things that interjects or distracts us, it breaks our communication with Krishna. And that is considered an abuse on the holy name, an abuse on Nama Prabhu, an abuse on the holy name of Lord Krishna. So just yesterday, right now in New Vrindavan, here in America. So yesterday, I just opened my window and I saw this somebody. He was videoing with his telephone, he uses smartphone. He saw one deer in the open where the residents are staying. One deer was just freely moving around. So this boy, he used his telephone, his smartphone, to start videoing the deer. But on one hand, he was chanting very seriously, chanting japa. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Now, another situation is also that, I think I told this story the other day. I was in New York for a New York Ratha Yatra some couple of years ago. And I have a friend, a young friend. He was at the time 10 years old. He was not chanting. And his parents wanted me to be close to him to encourage him to chant. So I befriended him. So then he saw me, and I was going to the site of the Ratha Yatra. And then he said, Maharaj, can I join you? Can I walk with you? I said, yes, you're my friend, come along. So as we were going, this 10 years old boy, he turned to me and said, Maharaj, can I ask a question? I said, come on, you're my friend. Feel free to ask me any question. He said, sir, if someone is chanting the Hare Krishna mantra on beach, can he be watching television at the same time? I said, that is not proper. That is offensive chanting. And guess what this 10 years old boy said? He said, oh, but my parents do that all the time. He said his parents do that all the time. His parents are chanting japa and they're watching television at the same time. So if you have kids in the home, if you've been, we are not able to chant purely, we should avoid these gross offenses because the kids, they see this, they may not even be very much attentive to Krishna consciousness. But you know, kids are like non-devotees who just about finding fault sometimes. They just find fault. They just want to find fault to use that as an excuse for not doing something. So here the 10-year-old boy was complaining about his parents' behavior towards the holy name. And therefore, we have to understand that there are rules in chanting the holy names. In fact, in most of the temples that I've been traveling to, in America, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, wherever, most of the temples, they have this, they recite early in the morning, just after Mangarati, after Tulsi Puja, they recite 10 offenses to be avoided in chanting the Mahamantra. And in some temples, people don't even know about that. But people should know about these offenses to be avoided so that we can make a speedy progress. And if we don't know, we should Google on the web 10 offenses against the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's there on the web. If you're a chanter of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you need to understand the offenses to be avoided in the process of chanting the holy names and to be able to meticulously follow up and try to avoid all these 10 offenses so that we can make a speedy progress on the path of chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna. Now, if we need to chant in the morning, what does that mean for us? It means we need to be self-regulated. We need to be mindful how much we eat. We need to be mindful what time we go to bed. Say, if we have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to chant before we go out to work, we need to go to bed on time, maybe 9 o'clock. In that way, we have sufficient rest and the body is reinvigorated, the body is nourished properly with sleep, because we can't concentrate on the holy name if we don't have sufficient sleep. If we don't have sufficient rest, we will not be able to chant without feeling sleepy, dozing, nodding the head. And so, as good as the holy name is, it is also very important that we regulate our lives in such a way that we treat the holy name with proper attention. I give this gross example. If a young man and a young lady are newly wedded, they go for honeymoon. And when they go for honeymoon, telephones are shut down. No incoming calls and no outgoing calls. That period of the honeymoon between the bride and the bridegroom, the newlyweds, that period of the honeymoon is supposed to be exclusively for these two individuals to communicate, to be able to have a rapport, to bond. So there shouldn't be any distraction. Similarly, when we are chanting the holy name, we are on a honeymoon with Lord Krishna. And so, if we are on a honeymoon, there shouldn't be any distractions at all. There shouldn't be any incoming calls or outgoing calls. We're saying it because this is a gross example we can give in this instance, because this is the age of smartphones. And because of the invasion of smartphones in our communities, our people have become, it has contributed to inattention in chanting of Krishna's holy names. I have seen it that even in Mayapur and Vrindavan, people are chanting japa and they put a smartphone before them. Of course, in some cases, they're using it to watch the time. But in some cases, the phone rings and they have to answer the call. They're chanting japa, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Very seriously. And the phone is waiting to receive calls. And so the phone rings and the communication with the Lord is broken. That is considered an abuse in the communication with the Lord. And therefore, we want to chant, do we love Krishna? We should show our love for Krishna. We should show our love for the holy names by creating an exclusive time for our meeting, for our honeymoon in chanting the holy names of the Lord with the Lord. We should carve out a specific time. At that time, there shouldn't be any interference. We should shut down our telephone, possibly keep your telephone away. See, if you are in the courtroom, in the court of law, witnessing a case, the judge is sitting on the bench and he is presiding over cases. If your phone rings in that courtroom, you will be arrested and indicted for some offense. That is the law. That is the law. Now, Krishna is the presiding judge in our temples. Lord Krishna, Sisi Radha, Krishna, they are the presiding justices in our temples. We have temples, we have the deities. They are the presiding judges or justices. It is just like you will be indicted for receiving a call in the courtroom when the court proceeding is going on. If the deities are available for darshan and you're making a call in the temple room, you are actually committing a crime. You're committing a crime. Therefore, see, I have used my own practical example. Like when I was in Mayapur, if I'm going to the temple room or in Vrindavan, I'm going to the temple room, I keep my phone in the home where I'm staying or in the ashram where I'm staying. I don't carry my phone to the temple room. Because you could forget that you didn't put the phone on silence. Or if you can put your phone on silence when in the temple room, fine. But especially when darshan is going on, or when class is going on, or when you're doing japa and you set up your phone to be receiving calls, that's not appropriate. See, the smartphones are a big distraction to community work, even in professional development, even in our families. Now, many books have been written now on how to become free from the distractions of the smartphone. Just within this short moment that smartphones have been invoked, so many authors have come up because it's been a distraction. Therefore, our chanting, we have to do it honorably, considering that when we are chanting, we are communicating with Lord Krishna. When we are chanting, we are in a honeymoon with Lord Krishna. That when we are chanting, we are in the courtroom presided over by Lord Krishna, Balaram, and Radha. Because those are the three names we chant. Hare, Krishna, Ram. Hare is denoting the devotional energy of Krishna. Rama, the Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure. And Krishna, the all-attractive personality of God. And so if we have these conceptualizations, that can help us to, create an enabling atmosphere for us to concentrate on our meeting with the holy names. So the same holy names that everyone is chanting. The same holy names that the Paramahamsas are chanting. The same holy names that Narada Muni is chanting. The same holy names everywhere. But the results are not the same. Why? Because of the consciousness of the individual who is embarking or who is engaged in the chanting. And therefore, it is important for us to understand what we are doing when we're chanting. To reflect on the meaning of what we are saying, the meaning of the prayers. We are begging Krishna, oh, energy of the Lord, oh, reservoir of all pleasure, oh, all attractive personality of God, Lord Krishna, please engage me in your service. This is what we are saying when we are chanting. We are begging Krishna to engage us in devotional service. So the next question is, what is my service to Krishna? What is my service to my spiritual master? Otherwise, if we don't have any service and we keep chanting, then it spells of hypocrisy. If, if we are doing it, please engage me in your service, and we don't really care to find out how to be engaged in some service, that's not good enough. Therefore, a chanter of the holy name, for the purpose of expedited purification, the chanting should be accompanied with some service too. And therefore, it is important for us to be alert. Because see, if you go to the office of the president of your country, you will not be inattentive. If you're talking with the president of your country, you will not be inattentive. Even with the governor of your state, you will be very, very attentive. But then Lord Krishna is the president of all presidents. He is the governor of all governors. And therefore, we need to understand that the person we're dealing with is the be-all and end-all. And therefore, when we are chanting his holy names, we should do it with proper frame of mind. And so, when we go to bed on time, yes, we will be able to use between 10 o'clock, 10 midnight, 10 in the night and 12 midnight. These have been proven scientifically to be the most nourishing hours of the night for body rejuvenation. So if we're able to go to bed before 10 o'clock, that's perfect. You'll be able to have a lot of strength, a lot of body rejuvenation to enable you get up at least at 4 o'clock. But if you keep up the whole late hours of the night and you go to bed at 1 o'clock or go to bed at 2 o'clock, it is very unlikely that you will be able to get up at 4 o'clock or 4:30 and be strong. I say 4 o'clock because majority of our temples, they start the program at 4:30. So if you wake up at 4 o'clock, if you go to some temple community, if you wake up at 4 o'clock, then you'll be able to get ready to go for the morning program, which starts at 4:30 a.m. And so going to bed early is an important aspect of our devotional life, because that enables us to do our japa early in the morning and to be able to prepare ourselves for the day. If we are not living in a temple environment, still you need to go to bed on time so that you have the early morning hours to be able to use for your chanting of your 16 rounds before you go out. If you're not able to do the 16 rounds, no problem. You can always complete it later. But in the morning, we should try as much as possible to do the chanting. This is one of the common secrets of steady progress in devotional life. Steady progress in devotional life. Because of the effect of the modes of nature. If we chant in the afternoon, and the afternoon is under the auspices or is governed by the mode of passion. If we chant in the night, in the evening, is governed by the auspices by the mode of ignorance. During the evening, all types of sinful activities are going on. And therefore, we have to choose the best time to be able to connect with Krishna. So Krishna has given us some idea. It's like, you want to talk to somebody and then you ask, what's the best time? I remember one of my mentees sent me an email the other day, and he was asking, Maharaj, what's the best time to have a chat with you? So if we want to communicate with somebody, we want to have a chat with somebody, we need to know what is the best time convenient to them. And the acharyas have given us the best time that is convenient to chat with Krishna, to talk with Krishna, or to call Krishna on the phone, and Krishna will pick up the call. Because if you call at another time, there are chances that he might be out in the forest, taking care of his cows. Oh yeah. So the acharyas have told us this is the time, this early morning hour, the Brahma Muhurta hour. That's the best time to catch this boy. The call at that time. He's watching on the phone. He's going to pick up your call. And so the chanting for us is our life and soul. When we take initiation, for instance, one of the vows is that we will chant 16 rounds every day for the rest of our lives. Why we have to do this? Because the chanting of the holy names is what makes us civilized human beings. Civilized human beings. Because the chanting facilitates a sense of high emotional intelligence, a sense of high self-control, and so many other factors. And these are just concomitant factors to the chanting of the holy name. The purpose is to attain Krishna prema. The purpose of our chanting is to attain Krishna prema. But before we get to that level, there are so many things that come along the way, just voluntarily. They are begging for some service. So we should see how we are regulating our lives. And sometimes I for one have a miscalculation about I tend to give a generalized idea because I remember one time I was at the university giving a talk, and there was this devotee who was also in that program. During question and answers, she was telling me how when she delivered, she stopped chanting. For months, she stopped chanting. And then when her child started crawling, one day the child crawled to some corner of the house and then put his hand somewhere and brought out the mother's chanting bead and bag. And then the child again crawled to the mother and held her by her dress, and then got up and then gave the beads and returned it back to the mother. So she said, "Oh no, this is not the child. This is my Guru Mother telling me, hey, come on, it's time to chant." So when she told me that story, my view is that, okay, so when ladies give birth, they don't chant, right? So then, but I was mistaken. I just draw a conclusion, based on my limited understanding. So recently, one of my aspiring disciples, she lives in London, and I mean in Liverpool. So she delivered. So I was speaking with a younger sister who is already initiated. Younger sister is a lawyer who is already initiated. So I was speaking with her and said, "So your sister, she's delivered the baby. So right now she's not chanting, right?" She said, "No, Maharaj." Right from the first day she gave birth, she has been chanting her 16 rounds. I said, "What?" So I made a mistake, I draw a conclusion, a generalized statement without making an empirical research. You see? So we can't say because one person don't chant because they had a baby, and so we say, oh, all of that women, they don't chant when after delivery. No, I've seen a practical case. One of my aspiring disciples, she, beat down my general conclusion. This is why it is not good to make a generalization when you have not conducted a quantitative research. So we can say that every devotee is committing offenses against the holiness. No. Just because I am not chanting attentively doesn't mean that other devotees are not chanting attentively. Just because I'm not able to do a particular thing doesn't imply that other devotees are also not going to be able to do that. No, we are always wrong when we make those type of generalizations. So even in the chanting of the holy names, we have to understand that we don't go on a break, no recess, no vacation. This type of job, there's no vacation, no recess, no break. Every day it has to be done. Even when we eat, some days we go on break, isn't it? On fasting days, Ekadasi days. Some people, they voluntarily give up eating on Ekadasi day. No one can voluntarily give up chanting, even the Paramahamsas. In fact, the higher you go, the more enthusiasm you have in chanting. And so it is important for us to know also that there are science-based evidence on the positive side effects of the holiness. In the recent past, I've been traveling, and most of the places I go to, I also like to share the fact that the chanting, the purpose of the chanting is to attain pure love for Krishna. And it is also true that the chanting has science-based evidence regarding positive side effects. For instance, if someone is chanting every day, whether purely or impurely, they will have a better mental health. In other words, the case of stress, anxiety, depression, even bipolar, these things are minimized almost to zero if someone is chanting regularly. This is also based on science. If you Google on the web, you find researches that have documented all of these type of studies and reported the results. In 1991, a scholar at Florida State University in America, he did his PhD. His dissertation or topic was on the effect of chanting Hare Krishna mantra on stress, depression, and gunas. And then he found that the Maha mantra helps to mitigate stress, the depression, and the effect of the gunas. on our lives. So, if even we don't want to go back to Godhead, if even we don't want to become pure, assuming we like it here, we like to be in this material world, we don't want to be pure, still it is important to chant, because nobody will say that they want their mental health to depreciate. Everybody will want, or majority of people will want, improvement in their mental health. And the chanting, one of the positive side effects, that it improves our mental health. The chanting has also been proven to have a positive effect on our sleep. In other words, the chanting mitigates insomnia. People are suffering from insomnia, they can't sleep in the night. Those who are chanting, in most cases, sleep is not their problem. It's how to resist sleep. The problem is how to resist sleep. Sleep is always there begging for service. So, scientists have come up with a report that chanting helps in reducing the chances of someone becoming affected by insomnia. So, there are many positive side effects of the chanting. For instance, it helps even those who are in school, those who are in colleges, university, doing academic work. The chanting helps in improving cognitive skills, because the chanting has been proven to be effective in improving attention span. And you need high attention span to be able to excel or to have high grades in your studies. This Kali Yuga, this 21st century, our attention span has depleted. This is the reason, this is one of the reasons why we have all these, our videos now on the web, we have short videos, 56 seconds of video clips, 1 minute of video clips, 2 minutes of video clips, because the videos of 1 hour, 2 hours, people don't watch it. Attention span is very low. We cannot concentrate for a long time. So mantra meditation or chanting helps in improving attention span. And so this is a boon. It's a very great benefit for people who are doing some studies, and even for professionals. Those who are high-profile professionals, they need to be attentive in managing their projects, in leading to the needs of their subordinates or of their team. So you need a high attention span to be attentive to the needs of people. Even in the family, if a parent is not having high attention span, whatever the child or other members of the family do, they may not be attentive, and they may think that they are not being loved. But the point is that because of low attention, attention span, the people can't concentrate. They can't figure out what is going on around them. So the chanting not only helps us to attain pure love for Krishna, but one of the benefits that we don't even look for it is that it helps to improve our attention span. Therefore, it is a boon for college students, university students, high school, or even kindergarten, whatever, or third graders, whatever, school, and professionals. Professionals, you need good quality of attention span to be able to excel in a professional development. So we should not play with our chanting, because it is so important. Now, what we need to also do sometimes is to have a personal exercise. And this is, I used to do this some years ago when I was younger. I used to chant, record my chanting, and then I will listen to it, whether I pronounce all the 32 syllables. Ha, re, Krishna, Rama. And so that used to help me a lot. So if I don't hear some of the syllables, I endeavor to improve on it. So improving on hearing the 32 syllables is very important for us to march towards the stage of clearing, or the stage of Baba, or the stage of Ruchi. The stage where we have a taste in the holy name cannot be reached if we are not chanting the 32 syllables distantly. These are some of the little things that help to speed up, to expedite our progress in the science of chanting Krishna's names. And so, we want to also leave some time for questions. So we already spoken for almost 55 minutes, and maybe we should leave room for questions now. Yes, thank you very much for participating in these discussions.
Maharaj, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
You partly have answered it, but still maybe you'd like to add something. It's about sleep, of course. You know, Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita, he wrote that we need 6 hours of sleep a day. But I know when I get sick, I need 8 hours. And to function well, I need 8. So what should I do?
Yeah, so take the 8. I bless you.
Thank you, people. Thank you so much. Well, what a conundrum that was, and now I'm relieved. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. See, the situation is such that listen. As I'm in New Vrindavan, they cook for me from the restaurant, and they bring like a festival, a feast. I feel bad for myself because my stomach can just take a little thing. And if I eat anything more than that, I'll get I'll get sick. So then tendency is to think, oh Krishna, what is this? Why don't you give me some some good stomach so that I can enjoy like everybody else? I mean, or like I'm on diet, and so there are so many things that I don't eat. And so someone, I remember my in my Bhakti Sanskrit teacher, he just asked me the other day because he invited me to come to his home for lunch, and I told him I'm not going to come. He said, other sciences are coming. Why not? He said, because I said, I don't want to come and give problem to you and your wife. He said, what do you mean? I said, because I don't eat this. I don't eat this. I don't eat fried foods. I don't eat sweets. I don't eat this and all these things. And then he looked at me and laughed. He said, this movement is a kitchen movement for enjoyment. So what are you enjoying in your life? So I can't, because other people are doing this, and say, well, I will also do it. My body doesn't take so many things. See, my Guru Maharaj used to drink, Bhakti Vasudeva Swami, our Guru Maharaj used to drink lime. Lime, he used to drink as juice. One drop of lime, my body cannot take. And so when I go to some places, they say, we have some lime for you. I said, I'm sorry, I don't take lime. He said, but your Guru Maharaj takes lime. I said, I'm not my Guru Maharaj, I'm Bhakti Vasudeva Swami. We have to look at what is most convenient for our spiritual development. That is the meaning of Yukta Bharagya, using everything, our human resource. This body is a human resource. We have to see how we're using it in advancing in Krishna consciousness. We don't unnecessarily abuse the body. We don't say, well, others are sleeping 2 hours. Okay? I remember when I was young, we used to sleep for 3 hours. Go to bed at 11 o'clock, wake up at 2 o'clock to chant, because from 4 o'clock I'll be on the altar until I come back from Sankirtan in the evening at 5 o'clock. That's my time. So the only thing is to wake up early. But you don't say, well, these guys, they're waking up at 2 o'clock or at 1 o'clock. I will also do the same. The bodies are not the same. So yeah, we have to be practical about how we utilize our human resource.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Welcome. Any other comment?
My question, Maharaj, is similar with health issue. This principle to chant the 16 rounds, I think, is very important. But when I'm working irregular, it's very, very difficult for me, because when I go back from my work in the night time and I go sleep against midnight, so I have to sleep 4 hours minimum, and then I wake up. But I'm so tired, it's not possible to wake up, because I sleep. So yes, when I'm working irregular, how I can make a regular discipline?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Daniela, thank you.
I try science 30 years, but
Okay.
it's not possible.
Right.
I have to work in irregular times. So for me, I think best will be when I'm changed and I go work in the night time. This is my new idea, and then I have not so lot stress, and I have more time to read in the day.
Yes. All right. Let me address the question.
Be a mess, So how I turn the problem, it's not possible.
Let me address the question. Thank you. Now, this is a peculiar situation. When we say you get up at 4 o'clock, use the Brahma Muhurta hours for your japa, it's a regular work schedule that you go to work, say 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, if you're working in the night, if you're on a night shift, you're the nurse, you're the doctor, or you are whatever, you're a healthcare provider, you may have different shifts. And the Brahma Muhurta hours may be your work shifts. What are you going to do? Be adjusted. Listen, there is a term in psychology, we call it the psychology of adjustment. Be adjustive. People who are not adjustive, they create problems for themselves, they create problems for their families, they create problems for their communities. And therefore, look at what is most conducive for you depending on your work schedule, and do the needful. In Krishna consciousness, there are no hard and fast rules. Now, one may say, what am I going to do? See, I'll give you an example. We don't carry our bead bag of beads into the toilet. But when my Guru Maharaj was preaching in Russia in those days, he told us how he will chant his rounds in the toilet.
Forbidden.
He would chant his rounds. He would go to the toilet, lock up himself, and chant his rounds. That time, in the dead of night, when people are sleeping. Because at that time, you cannot chant in Russia, The Soviet Union, I mean. Yeah. So, again, the circumstances surrounding that situation should give you that understanding on how to adjust yourself to be able to go on to integrate your sadhana with your work. Okay, if you're a doctor or a nurse working in the hospital, say you're on a night shift, what can you do? Adjust yourself. Do what is convenient to you, and just make sure that you do your chanting. Out of the 24 hours, you do your chanting. Okay, Daniela, you're covered. I bless you. Okay.
Okay, Maharaj, we have a question. I'll translate. Yeah. You said that we shouldn't only chant the mantra, we also have to... One second. Вы сказали, что мы не должны просто читать мантру, не сейчас движения, а в том, что если наоборот движение, но не звонить сначала, если не хватает времени. Okay, first question is, you said that we shouldn't only chant, but we should render some service. And if we are doing some service in Krishna consciousness, but we have no desire for chanting, what to do?
If there are people like that, I tell you, there are people, I met some people, for instance, I was in Germany, I was in Europe, the whole of August I was in Europe, I was in Switzerland, France, and Germany. So I was in Germany, and then this this lady who came to translate the class, my Bhagavatam classes, she told me that she's been around for like 6 years in the movement, but she doesn't chant. I said, why? He said, the mind. So there are people who have been around, they're doing nice services, but they don't chant. So what we do is to encourage them. I have situations like I have a friend in New Jersey. I've been to their home. He was inviting me to come yesterday, but I said, look, I'm in another state completely away from New Jersey. And now the wife is a scientist. She has a PhD in some science field, in the medical field. She developed some type of strategy for curing, for treating a particular type of cancer. So this guy, the husband, is not chanting. And the wife is in anxiety that the wife is already initiated. The husband is not chanting. But she does everything. He supports the wife, everything. And so I had an interaction with him because the wife was complaining, was in anxiety about the husband. And so I had a discussion with him. And then he said that he likes the chanting. He likes the chanting. He likes what the wife is doing. It's just that he has not gotten that emotional courage to pick up the beats and chant. But that he is praying that emotional courage comes one day and he starts to chant. So there are people like that. If they are living in an environment or they are associating with devotees, it's a matter of time, they will chant. If they are doing some services, they will chant later. We should not just condemn them. We should understand that for someone to start chanting Krishna's names, they have to accumulate sufficient pious merit. So maybe their pious merit is not yet enough, it's not sufficient. So we should encourage them in the service attitude. And when the purification is ripe enough, then they will pick up with the chant.
Okay, Maharaj, one more question. Okay. If we do not have sufficient time for reading Srimad Bhagavatam, could we read Srimad Bhagavatam in a metro with not sufficient attention? Won't be it considered to be an offense?
No, that's a nice question. Reading, you can always read anywhere. If even there is a disturbance, Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janandana. Bhavagrahi Janandana means the Lord, he reciprocates with the devotee based on the bhava of the devotee, based on the thought pattern, the mindset, of the devotee. Just by desiring to serve Krishna, Krishna reciprocates. Krishna blesses us. So we should not worry by dint of our environment. Krishna will reciprocate us. And Krishna will also provide a conducive environment, a quiet environment in the future where we'll be able to have the proper concentration in chanting without any disturbance. But we should not stop chanting. We should not stop the reading. We should not stop the services or the chanting because the environment is not conducive.
Окей, go on. Как жить и подготовиться к тому, чтобы в последний момент перед смертью мы могли бы повторить мантру? How to live and prepare ourselves in order to chant the mantra in the last moment of our lives?
We should, Bhakti Vasudeva Swami, my Guru Maharaj, he said, we have to live our lives as if we are going to die the next moment. In that way, we will take the chanting very seriously.
My question is, what happened when a person that left his body and he never was chanting in his life because he don't know Krishna consciousness, he was Christian, grandfather from my son, and I go chanting during he gonna left his body. What's happening with him?
Who was chanting when the grandfather was leaving his body?
Me.
So he has the holy name, will be promoted.
Did he have another situation when he left his
He
body
will-
when I chant? Then
Yeah,
don't chant.
if you chant the holy names when he was leaving the body, the holy name goes into his ears, then he will attain a higher body. Yeah,
Nice. So I continue with chanting. Thank you.
yeah.
Maharaj, and if one says that I don't need to chant my rounds because I'm meditating and chanting all the time inside in my head, what would you say to that?
This is a very good excuse, you know. A very good excuse, but it's not admissible. I mean, it's like you go to the law court. There are some good evidence you may have, but they may not be they may be inadmissible in the court of law. So we don't admit that someone I'm chanting, you know, I'm Krishna is in my heart. No, I chant. I remember him all the time. I'm chanting all the time. Our process is that we chant on beats, we hear the mantra. Japa means we chant and we hear it. And so it's not that we chant in our hearts. Yeah. It's a good excuse, but it's not acceptable. Any other questions?
Yes, we have some more.
Okay.
Меняет ли Махамантра жизнь к лучшему или только внутренние действия человека и сам какое-то действие? Does Mahamantra itself changes life for the best, or it affects the person who chants and the person changes the life himself or herself?
I don't understand that.
Okay, I'll try to explain. Someone chants the holy name. Does the holy name changes the life of a chanter, or holy name's effects on the chanter, and chanter then changes his life himself?
Oh, okay. The holy name has an effect. The holy name has an impact. Even every sound has an impact on our values. Take for instance, if someone is just walking across the road majestically. Now, if a driver is coming by and he or she honks the vehicle, boom, boom, the person runs away from the road to save their life. So the sound has an impact on him to save that person's life. So the holy name has an impact on our values, on our lives. Holy name is a transformative agency of change. Any other comments or questions?
Can I comment?
Uh-huh.
Very often, as I've noticed, observed, when devotees chant the holy name, they kinda expect, not all, some people who chant the holy name, they expect their life to change for the better, the material manifestation of it. But yes. I personally think that we've already, we've already signed the contract for that lifetime, right? We've already signed for the body. We are in it. We cannot change that. We have some certain circumstances, certain relatives. So this expectation that my life will, be transformed materially, I think this is standing in the way of the true surrender sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good perception. It's a good observation. It's a good mindset. Now, again, I would like to mention again. I like to make a reference to my teacher or to our spiritual master. I had a terrible accident some years ago when I was younger, when I was in Africa, and I had, my bones, most of my bones were broken. My pelvic bone was broken. My bladder was ruptured. And then I was ready to die. But somehow the other Krishna still kept me alive. and so and so when my good Maharaj came, he said, he said, he said, he said, he said, Vasudeva, you are on a crash program. A crash program means that, you have a lot of work to deal with. A lot of work to deal with. And so if we have taken initiation and we are following the four regulative principles, for instance, we are signing a contract of a crash program. It means we want to go back to God at the end of this lifetime. And so sometimes the things that we need, we should have come to this material world for millions and millions of lifetimes to deal with, they are brought to bear just in this lifetime. And so sometimes it could be very crushing. And so without this understanding, one thinks, wait a minute, I am suffering more than my mates outside there who are not in Krishna consciousness. And some devotees, I know some cases where someone comes to complain that, Maharaj, I've been chanting for 14 years, 20 years, and this is my problem, this is my problem, it seems that I'm not making any improvement. I say, all right, if you feel that this mantra is not working, stop chanting for 1 week, and you see the result. But then his response was that, Maharaj, why you give me this type of terrible advice? I said, because you have to conduct an experiment to see the difference. So, yeah, we may have challenges, but our challenges are minimized. Because if we are strictly following the four regulative principles and chanting 16 rounds minimum every day, rendering service in this movement, we will not risk to come back to this material world. Prabhupada gives us that guarantee. He said, if we serve his mission, serve ISKCON in spreading the holy names of the Lord, and we chant 16 rounds every day without fail, and we follow these four regulative principles, Prabhupada would personally arrange for us to not come back to this material world, to not be reborn again. But we look at it, seems it's easy, but majority of people cannot do it. Even I've seen people who are initiated and they're not able to, they can't even follow the four regulative principles. I've seen that. Yeah, so when if we are doing it, we should appreciate ourselves. There is this adage, this African adage written by one of these Nobel laureate winners. He said, they gave the story of a lizard. I don't know whether some of you know, all of you know what a lizard is. A lizard sometimes jumps from the ceiling down or from the top of a tree, jumps down. And the lizard actually nods the head like this. The reason is, according to this author, he said, the reason that the lizard looks around, left and right, he didn't see anybody coming to pat him on the back to say, oh, well done, you jumped from that high place, well done. So he said, well, I need to praise myself, I did a great job. So sometimes we are in Krishna consciousness and we think it's very simple. We need to appreciate what we are doing, okay? Self-appreciation, yeah. Any other comments or questions? We have 10 more minutes. Okay. If there are no other comments or questions, then I would like to move for the adjournment of this meeting.
Thank you, Maharaj, for this meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming to participate in this Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nama Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
All glories to the Russian community of devotees.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Haribo.
So Bhakti Vasudeva Maharaj ki jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj.
The Lim family.